Do it. They do it down there, and I'm excited to get down there and,
Yeah.
and call this show.
Yeah.
It's fun to travel. I mean, we all like to travel.
Well, it's
different
getting
tracks.
out of the comfort zone for a little bit.
It is.
Seeing something a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting all kinds of, all kinds of messages here on the. I'm just trying to read this real quick.
No worries. You've got it. I've never been to Bakersfield. I want to go. It's just come down to a few last-minute deals for me. So hopefully I can make the trip with you guys because I want to get in on this. I know I missed out last year because of work, but it's like, come on, I want to go. I want to be there. I want to see that. I want to see the Budweiser guitar, feel the roar in the stands.
Well, and that's the thing is, 2 years ago down to see that their trophies for the Budweiser Nationals, the winner gets a Budweiser guitar.
Oh, really?
Guitar. Yeah.
Bobby Hogue's got enough to feel the whole rock band.
2 years ago, we were down there calling the show. Bobby Hogue won night number 1 and 2 in both IMCA modified and late models. He walked out of that weekend with 4 guitars.
Wow.
He walked out of there with more guitars than there was in the band ZZ Top. I mean, he could have started his own rock band.
Game on.
It's cool, and those guys, man, they do it down there. That's a big race. There's money on the line. There's
Joey Tanner right there. It's going down at Baco this year.
Joey's pumped. I know
There we
Gray.
go.
I heard Gray's going. Colin's going. I do believe, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure Bryson's going down with Charlie and his crew. We'll see. I'm excited. We've been talking with Scott Schweitzer and Brian Smith and those guys and kind of organizing how we're going to do things this year. And it's going to be fun. I'll fill you guys in on some of that and what's going down. I've got a surprise for both of you guys and the rest of the Moxie crew coming up.
Nice.
But, it'll be good. You'll like it. Trust me.
Very cool.
I'm excited about it. So we got some things happening with Moxie. It's getting bigger all the time. It's been a lot of
Well, it
work.
can't get smaller.
Well, we can. We did. Now we're back up in personnel, and we've actually been contacted by another racetrack in California wants us to come down and call a particular show. I haven't told you guys about that yet. But
No, you haven't.
That happened yesterday. And
He does this. It just
Oh.
you'll have to get used to it, Dom.
well, here's the thing. I don't
Didn't
want to
get
say
the memo.
I don't want to say, oh, hey, guess what? And then it doesn't happen. I don't want to get everybody all hyped up. And then if it doesn't happen, it's like, oh, well, that sucks. We're bummed.
Yeah, but we can all make it happen.
Well, we will. We
Yeah.
will. This particular deal, I think we will, because it's after our season's over.
Nice.
So we'll be able to travel down and get another race in California, and
Nice.
it'll be fun. I'm really trying to work this out. We'll see what happens.
Nice.
I'm just excited about what next year holds for Moxie, and
Oh, yeah.
I love the racing community.
Mhm.
I hope I showed that tonight by in some way. I think I want to hope I here's the thing about it. We race together, we play together. There's relationships developed. We're friends.
Yeah.
We talk about the racing family. Okay, you appreciate that, and with the position that we're in, we don't have to worry about banging doors with somebody on the racetrack. Well, Dom does. You don't.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
But the thing about what we do is we know all of these teams. So we have to know the
Yeah.
personnel on those teams and the drivers, and not just in race mode.
Mhm.
We develop friendships with all these teams. And that's one thing I'm pretty proud of is I'd say out of 100 teams, 90 of them are going to be glad to have us in their pit area.
Yeah. And you know what? It's kind of like Joel was telling me tonight. He's not in this for anything other than to improve the sport, racing.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we're not becoming rich. We don't have. This isn't our full-time job.
No.
This is something we do. It's trying to make the sport better.
That's what we try to do. We try to make the sport better. We try to grow the sport. We try to. How many times we've even brought sponsorships to other teams that needed
Sure.
it. We've helped in that way, and glad to do so. That's what we try to help each other out. And you just hate to see. You hate to see things like this last weekend.
You really do. It puts a black eye on the sport, and we've talked about it enough, and it's just not where it needs to be. But at the same time, it's like we got to when Dave Miller stuck his car in the wall this weekend, he was shocked as heck that we knew who he was and what his name was. I mean,
I saw his post. I did see that. Now we've got to know Dave a lot better this year. Making sure that we have a bigger presence in the pit area and talking with teams and getting to know everybody because. And here's what's funny to me because people are saying, "Oh, there's," and I can understand why. You develop friendships like I talked about. People, you walk through the pit area and people see you talking to this driver every week or talking to that driver every week, or and people say, "Oh, he's got favorites." That they've got favorites. That's their favorite. I started hearing that. I quit going to the campground after the races.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I stay away from the campground from the races because I started hearing that favoritism thing.
Sure.
Now I make sure when I go to the pit area, I talk to as many teams as I can because they're in our favorites. We're all friends.
Yeah.
We're all doing the same thing for the same reason, to have a good time in a sport we enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And when it gets to a point where that's not happening or we're not having fun and things like this last weekend happened and guys are selling all their equipment because they're disgusted with what's going on, that is not a good thing. That is not – and we're trying to do completely opposite of what just happened. And it saddens a lot of people.
Yeah, everybody just needs to pull together. Let's make it all work.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just needs to work and flow. Keep the sport good, family-oriented, have fun, do your things.
That's the big kicker right there. Family-oriented sport.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you start – I said it before, I'll say it again. The messages we've gotten about now how 4-year-olds know how to count to number 1.
Yeah. You can't get a kid off a video game or away from a television. If you get a kid to go to the track, that's a big thing. And
it is.
It's got to be promoted, so they keep doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I see it, and that's the part that saddens me.
And it's true because how many racetracks market themselves as family fun,
right? As
a family entertainment venue, as there are families that are there week in and week out with their kids.
Yeah, there's diehard families there, absolutely.
There's. I played semi-pro football for a long time, and
were you any good?
Yeah, I was all right.
What was the name of the team?
The last year I played for a team called the East Lynn Loggers.
Nice.
It was brutal. It was like arena football, but on a 100-yard field. Brutal game.
If I Google you, will I find it?
You will? Yep.
Okay, cool.
Can I have your autograph?
No. It's not worth anything anyway. So, I don't even know what the hell I was talking about now.
I can do that. I can throw people
that
off.
Was good teamwork right there, Dom.
We're talking about family fun. It's just, you don't want – this is not what we want our kids to see, that this is okay on a racetrack, or young racers in a go-kart see these guys that they look up to do something like this and say, oh, well, I'll do it next time that guy makes me mad. This is not what we want to teach our future generations in race cars. This is not the kind of representation we want at the racetrack for sponsors, for drivers, for families, or anybody else involved. It's just not what we do. I don't think from here on out, with all the melee this has all caused, I don't think we're going to see this anymore. I mean, not like we
I sure hope not.
Not like the acts we saw this weekend. I think people are going to think about, there was a lot of lessons to be learned in this whole deal.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are going to think about what they do in the aftermath. I hope people think more about what they do in the aftermath that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
They need to. There's people could have got really hurt.
When I was a drag racer, we were pro. We'd go all over the country. We were our own team. Everybody raced against each other. We were competitors, but we all were a team. We'd put it all together. We'd go all over the country, and we'd promote it. And that's what kept our sport going as long as it did. Okay? We had to become one big family. Whether we got mad at the line or whatever happened during that race, it was let go, and we were having fun then after the races.
Right.
It was a family. We did it to promote what we were doing. And that's I guess that's what I told you. This just saddens me. The whole.
I know that working in the tower together this weekend, watching what happened was a loss of words. It just kind of things got real quiet. Like you cannot believe what you're seeing. It's one of those deals where you truly can't. You just don't.
I just remember you looking at me with your mouth open.
It's like, what are we looking at? What is happening this weekend?
But in a nutshell, we all know where this is going.
Right, and I think we'll hope to God we put it behind us, move forward, and then continue to do the right thing. That's the best we can hope for. What we should be doing. What are you looking at, Joel?
I'm trying to pull them up.
Do me a favor. I wanted to, because I'm all for extreme fire and rescue. What you guys do? Can you go on Facebook and find Dave Miller's post?
Maybe.
Because it was kind of funny that he said, I didn't even know they knew my name. I thought, okay, these guys are. I mean, they do. They know what they're doing. They know who's who. And did you go ahead? Will you read that? Read it out loud.
You want me to read this?
Yeah, I want you to read that post from Dave Miller not to you, but to Extreme Fire and Rescue.
So Dave Miller posted, quote unquote, I want to give a shout out to Extreme Fire and Rescue crew team for an absolute great job all season at Willamette Speedway. I started counting the second from when my car stopped sliding, and it took exactly 10 seconds. I had one of the crew lean in my passenger side window and ask, "You okay, Dave?" Not sure why, but it surprised me that he knew my name. I don't even know who it was, but thank you. I tried to keep track all weekend, and the longest I saw it took for one of the crew to talk to a driver was 13 seconds. That's amazing considering it's a 1/3 mile track. Thank you all.
That's pretty cool to get that kind of positive recognition for you guys. And, we talk about Extreme all the time and how fast they respond and how fast they get there and how tactical they are. You guys, I mean, seriously, they're tactical almost in like a
military precision?
Yeah, really. I mean, where you guys place yourself on the track, I know you guys talk about that. You have meetings, you have training, and you got a machine where you've got a driver that gets upside down, how to extricate somebody in a situation like that. These guys are serious. And thank God we've got them at the track because of...
Well, they can't be enjoying much of the race. They have to watch it with such an eagle eye, making sure everything is operating properly, orchestrated properly. And I can't see where they could have a really good time.
Oh, we do. We do, trust me. We have probably the second best seat in the house when we're on the infield.
Well, that's true.
I mean...
But here, they have a good time because I made the mistake one night of having one of their radios up in the tower.
Oh, gosh.
They have a good time. I'm going to say that.
We are a family, and we have fun. I mean, if we're not having fun, we're doing something wrong. But, I mean, the nights like they were this last weekend, we get tired.
Oh, yeah.
We get cranky.
But it's nights like this last weekend that we're glad. We're fortunate to have you guys there in case something does happen.
But it also drives us together.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It really does. I mean...
Well, I'd say there's a big wedge in some spots right now, but nothing that can't be fixed.
That's absolutely right.
But you guys are an integral part of that facility and the safety of everybody, not just the drivers, but the fans and, I mean, every single person there depends on you. In a sense, we depend on you.
We do what we do. I mean, it's Doug and Tony and Skippy and everybody on that team, Chris included, have put so much time and so much energy into making that team what it is. Mm-hmm. And Tony and I were talking last night about it, and when we go to different tracks, we travel not as extreme, but as fans. Mm-hmm. And we sit there and we look back and we're like, how would anybody race here? Just by what's, I mean, we talk about some of the incidents that happened in California. Medford had an incident not that long ago.
Look at the one Warren was at.
Evergreen.
Yeah.
Evergreen.
That one. I mean, we start looking at that, and that's one thing that, I mean, call me sick or sadistic or whatever, but I will literally watch videos to to digress it, debrief it, to think about it. How is that going to change what I do?
Mm-hmm. How do you approach something like that? I mean,
it's like when we had.
Well, then think about that too, and I don't even want to think about in some cases what you guys have to see in a major situation, like an EMT.
Oh yeah.
I could never do that job.
No.
I thought about it when I was younger. I thought about looking into it, and I started thinking, wait a second. The thing about that was, if I got to come up, and I've got a friend, his son just started doing this. His first 6 months on the job, he was on 22 fatalities, and a lot of those had kids. That's exactly why I never thought about being an EMT.
Yeah, separating that human life from reality, I couldn't do it.
I would have a hard time with that, especially when you see kids there and death, and it's, I don't know. That for me it's
one thing we don't have to deal with. We don't want to deal with it.
Right.
And that's a credit to the race teams themselves, because
But there's always that chance something stupid happens and you end up dealing with something like that. It can happen.
It can.